18-year-old South Florida freshman studying at Cornell University in New York was found dead last week.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't accept it.
It could have been, a beautiful week, and it turned out to be, the worst nightmare for us as parents.
Antonio was only 18 years old and only 2 months into his first year at Cornell University.
You send your kids to college, you do the research, you jump through all the hoops to get the SAT grades, the extracurricular activities, sports, whatever, to get a well-rounded kid, and he ends up dead.
Just 48 hours before the tragic news of finding his lifeless body, Flavia and John were looking forward to the planned parents' weekend with their son.
I was very excited about going up to Ithaca to see Antonio. Flavia went the night before and was going to have dinner with him.
We spoke about internships and also what he wanted. So we're talking about his future in the spring, and then also what he was doing. He had just become a campus tour guide, and he was excited about taking us and him leading the tour on the day his father was going to be coming the next day.
At 8 p.m., he told his mother he needed to leave to finish an economics project and told her that he would meet her at the bookstore at 11 a.m. the next morning. Flavia did not know that it would be the last time she saw her son alive.
He wasn't picking up the messages.
I was getting very anxious. Every time the door opened, I thought I was going to see him. So the anxiety was rising.
Little did Flavia and John Tsialas'S know that on the night of, he was whisked away to an unregistered Dirty Rush event. The fraternity brothers of Phi Kappa Psi drove dozens of freshmen, including Antonio, to the frat house, where they ushered them through 7 rooms, and each room contained alcohol challenges. The event, called Christmas in October, required freshmen to drink large amounts of different types of alcohol in a 2-hour time period.
They told us that some of the kids have lost consciousness.
Although the freshmen were told that they were not required to drink, according to the sworn testimony of several witnesses, the peer pressure caused all of them to drink, and many drank to the point of severe intoxication and blackouts. One freshman divulged that a young lady from one of the sororities stated that Antonio was not drunk enough and proceeded to pour vodka down his throat. Nearly 100 people were at the Phi Kappa Psi event, with so-called sober monitors who were supposed to keep an eye on attendees, but yet no one saw Antonio leave?
You don't have to force people to drink and do other crazy things that are unacceptable in life.
It was at least a 10-minute walk from the frat house to the area where Antonio's body was discovered, which would have been extremely difficult to walk in the dark, especially not knowing the area and unable to walk a straight line given his high blood alcohol level.
It didn't make sense to me. He couldn't have made it down in that area.
In that secluded wooded area, the police found his white polo shirt on the ground that he was wearing under his hoodie that night. It had vomit and a footprint that didn't match Antonio's. They never recovered his cell phone.
I really hope that whoever was involved and that, who was at that party will find the courage to say something about what happened.
Antonio's parents experienced firsthand what the code of silence means. Police records show that many were told by a fraternity brother not to tell anyone that they had gone to the party, and when lawyers were subsequently hired, most of the fraternity brothers refused to say anything of what happened that night, claiming they were exercising their right to remain silent.
The students are just completely responsible for everything, especially because the Dirty Rush was actually before he got a bid, so he wasn't even pledging yet.
We get a text from Nico Erini saying how they actually found his body and he's passed. And I remember that it was a silence, a terrible silence.
He was the last person that we'd expect to end up in a situation like this because of just how good his character was and just how dedicated he was to improving himself.
Antonio was also part of the competitive Cornell soccer team.
When you're the star athlete, you're the big shot. Everybody wants to be with you. Everybody wants to get to know you. Everybody wants to party with you because they see some sort of potential in your abilities to build up a name for themselves.
His childhood friends believe that Antonio's frat brothers weren't what they claimed to be.
These guys who, the fraternity members, were kind of posing as if, you know, maybe they were his friends or whatever. But if there was anyone there who actually cared about him, then it would not have gone down that way.
Mainly anger, because like I said, he would never voluntarily put himself in that position. So I knew there was some sort of agent of malice involved, some external force as well, that obviously still has not been brought to justice.
All that remains are high school memories of a dedicated leader, soccer team captain, and a true friend.
You know, after a game, rather than, you know, celebrate him with his team, he would always be the first one to go up to the other goalkeeper and, you know, talk to him, pat him on the back, you know, give him a handshake, things like that. And
like so great, like respect for him and how much we'll miss him, and like how great of a loss he was, because like how much I enjoyed spending my time around him, and so many other people felt the same way as well.
He was an exceptional student.
He had such a profound impact on other people, whether on the soccer team or in the classroom or at a debate tournament. And his compassion and his joy for life and his curiosity for learning, yeah, that needs to be honored.
Antonio was not only Christopher and Athena's big brother, but also their mentor who they admired and deeply missed.
He FaceTime called me to help me with my homework. Everyone to remember him as like a leader, very caring.
I miss I guess it's hard because when people come, often people who are his age, they come back for breaks, and I often see people with their older siblings who come back from college or stuff like that. And I guess it makes me very sad because it's I never had that. I blame everyone because I feel like everyone, at least at the school, or everyone is complicit in some way. The people who actually did it, they did it, so I guess a lot of people would blame them. But not only that, but also the people who stayed quiet, the people who lie.
The secrecy, the dirty rushing, the unanswered questions that caused this family to convert the unimaginable heartache to action.
After everything came about, Flavia and I discussed about what we should do to keep Antonio's memory, and we talked about putting together a foundation, and we created the Antonio Tsialas'S Leadership Foundation, and so that we could make students aware of hazing and preventative measures for hazing.
And my hope is that, we all choose love, and we all choose to find or ask for courage and inspiration so that we could live our lives by our own truth.
The story of Antonio Tsialas'S doesn't end here. It will continue through the foundation named after him and through the efforts of his beloved family and friends such as myself. Antonio truly transformed me. In just about every matter of my daily life, I strive to reflect the same qualities that led Antonio to such a brilliant life. The world would be much brighter if we were all like Antonio. We can make a difference, all of us, by leading through love and compassion.
Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. It's not warm when he's away. There ain't no sunshine